part of the required documents that you need to submit together with your student visa application if you are applying for a family of 2 or 3. For the next part, we'll be looking on the open work permit and the temporary resident for your child required documents. For the open work permit or OWP, there are of course a list of documents as well that we need to prepare. The first one, of course, you need to have your original passport and should be valid for more than 6 months. Like what I mentioned earlier, you need to make sure that you have sufficient validity on your passport. A passport photo and a copy of your birth certificate and marriage certificate. A proof of immigration status in your country of residence. For our case here in Singapore, I presented my NRIC. And the next one is a letter of intent. Yeah, this letter of intent is more likely the same as the SOP, the statement of purpose for the student visa application. So for this letter of intent, you need to provide an essay letter as well, indicating your introduction, your work experience, your educational background, your intention. Why are you going to Canada with your student visa partner? Of course, you will be indicating there that you wanted to support your partner or your spouse. You want to give your moral support, and that both of you are always together whenever there is a new journey or new challenge in your life. Those stuff. You just need to make a story about your relationship with each other, and also indicating your plan after your partner or spouse graduated from your study. What are your plans? So basically, it's more like the same content from the student statement of purpose. So also you can indicate as well the budget that you will also be supporting your spouse or your partner that on his tuition fees and living expenses, since you will be having open work permit and you will be working for the both of you. So that's one of the important things that you need to indicate in your letter of intent as well. My advice on preparing your statement of purpose and letter of intent, you need to be focused and you need to be honest as much as possible, because you don't want to ruin your one-time student visa application on your life. You don't want to waste your time, effort on resubmitting or having a rejection again and then resubmitting, reapply. Of course, we sometimes we can't control those scenarios, but I want to advise you guys to prepare everything, all the specific information and details that you can provide together with your application, so that you will be saving your time on the waiting period whenever you submit an application. So yeah. Though the next one is an NBI clearance, not more than 3 months old as well, same as the student visa application. And the police certificate from all countries and territories where you live for 6 consecutive months or longer after turning 18-year-old. So for our case here in Singapore, the police certificate is valid for 6 months. So we requested our police certificate 1 to 2 weeks before we launch our application. And the next one is a proof of sufficient funds of your spouse or your own bank account. And if you have money enough as well from your bank account, then you need to provide your bank certificate and bank statement for at least 3 months to 6 months, just to be safe for 6 months. So yeah, that's the proof of funds that you can include from your OWP application. And the next one is assets. Of course, if you have properties under your name or any stocks investment certificate that you owned as well. For our case, we have a joint call financial account, so we just requested one certificate that suffice for both of our application. And for the property, we are also joint. Both of our names are indicated there. So yeah, we just attach the same documents for our applications. And of course, my latest tax assessment for the past 2 years. And of course, an updated CV or resume indicating all your work experiences so that, the visa immigration knows that you can support your student spouse or partner during your stay in Canada. And also, I have attached all my professional certificates, like, if you have a Cisco certification, a Microsoft certification, Azure certification for IT people, or for other careers, of course, you also have your own certification, like maybe you have a managerial training certification. So that's an additional supporting documents as well. The next one, of course, your certificate of employment. You need to provide from all of your past work experience. So in my case, I do have a lot of companies back then. I have 5 in the Philippines. I have 5 here in Singapore. So I have a total of 10 certificate of employment that I need to get. Luckily, from the past PR applications that we made, I already have all the Philippine certificate of employment. Since the time we applied for our PR application from the year of 2015 to 2017, I have gathered all the certificate of employments of my work here in Singapore and just updated 1 or 2 companies that I have. So yeah, I did experience a lot of hiccups and difficulties on requesting this certificate of employment with the standard Canadian template. So yeah, it's a very challenging part. We even goes back and forth to the Philippines back then to physically talk to the HR and explain and provide the template to them. Yeah, but it's okay. It's all worth it. At least I will just do that one time, and I can use it for so many times, if that's the logic. And then the next one is the insurance policy. Like I mentioned before, we included all our AIA insurance certificate policy. The certificate that I presented was the policy letter, the first page of our policy that we received when we applied the insurance. So that's the one that I got, because when I asked our financial advisor, he said that suffice the requirements. So that's the one that we attached to the documents. And then the English language exam, it's actually not required for the OWP, or of course even your child. It's not required, but preferably have based from our agent. So for our case, since we already have a PTE language exam for the both of us and it's still valid, so we just submit it all together. There's no harm on attaching it if you already have that document. At least you take advantage of what you paid for or what you did for that exam. Lastly, the IMM form. So the IMM forms that I filled out is the IMM 1295E application form. So I indicated all my details as well. And the next one is IMM 5257B 1 travel. In this travel information, I didn't include all the travels that I made back to the Philippines. And another form is the IMM 5645E family. Is the information about your family. Specifically for my case, is my mom and dad in the Philippines, brothers and my child and my spouse. And it will ask you there if these family members are included in your application. So yeah, basically all these documents are the ones that we submitted to our agent, and they help us lodge the application using their own GC key. Their own consultant GC key. That is why we don't have visibility on what is the status of our application every now and then. So that's one of the cons from our case. From our agency, they have their own RCIC licensed immigration consultant. So she's the one who lodge our application and advises what are the stuff that we need to correct in our application forms and documents. That's one of the probably things that we pay for this agency. Yeah, but it's all worth it. So for the next part is for your child temporary residence application. So in our case, our child is just 1 year old, and the only requirements that we included for her is, one is her passport, her birth certificate. She actually have 2, Singapore and Philippine birth certificate, and an insurance as well for her, and a photo ID Yeah, we did a DIY photo ID at home because the immigration consultant asked us last minute about that. And the forms that your child needs to fill up is the IMM 5257B1 travel. So this one is pertaining to the temporary residence information as well. Same with me and the student visa. And then the next one is the IMM 5645E family as well. In this case, it will only indicate the parents of your child. That's the only two forms that we filled up for our child. I know that some cases, there are some people applications that their child are already studying. So if they will be transferring from school from the Philippines or any other countries, of course you need to present all the school documents that he or she have. You will also need that to be able to find a school near to your place in Canada as well. That's the only information that I have because I haven't done that because our child is only 1 year old. That's about it about the required documents that we prepared for our student visa application for a family of 3. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I will definitely upload more information about how we process our documents and finding a place in Canada. Those stuff I will be sharing for the next upcoming videos, so watch out for it, and if you're interested, please watch it. And yeah, thank you so much. And lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you'll get notification whenever I post a new video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye! Mwah.